Hello, everyone. This is Daisy. Just in case you somehow stumbled upon this podcast and have no idea what's going on, this is Dear Daisy, a podcast about secrets, and I am Daisy Eagan. I am a writer, a podcaster. I've been an actor in past lives. You know, general all-around person. It's a wild time to be alive, both micro and macro these days. A lot of self-centering, happening. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know that I'm all about self-care and focusing on yourself and putting yourself first, so that you can show up in your life. But there does seem to be a lot of self-centering going on that is unhealthy. People sort of taking larger events and making them about themselves, or basically just thinking, how does this affect me personally, when it doesn't. I'm not going to talk about Israel and Palestine, even though it is on my mind constantly, and I have trouble sleeping at night thinking about innocent people being, murdered in the name of peace. The argument that we all live on colonized land just feels really cheap. Yes, of course, in some ways we all live on colonized land, but it doesn't mean that colonization is okay, and it doesn't mean that we're not talking about human beings, Anyway, I don't know, that's what's weighing on my mind right now. I was scrolling through Instagram this morning, and I came upon Ijeoma Oluo's post about what's happening in the Middle East, in Israel and Palestine, and white supremacy, and I don't know, just spoke to my soul. Anyway, we don't have to get into that. I know it's very polarizing. Last weekend was Obsessed Fest. The only thing I would want to say about that weekend is that the grab bag panel was amazing. It was packed, standing room only. People were jazzed. We were so excited to see so many people interested in what we're doing. We had some great questions, and I read a Dear Daisy letter live, which was amazing, and it really makes me want to just, do a tour. But right now we have, fewer than 2,000 patrons. So I feel like if I did a tour, there'd be 2 people per city coming to it. Plus we can't afford it at this point. But it's on the vision board in my mind. Really all I want to do these days is paint and do Dear Daisy. I feel like I've said that before, but it's true. What else? My live Strange and Unexplained show was really great. There was some backstage drama happening at the same time, which I was unaware of, and realized after the fact that it may have accounted for why my audience seemed a little subdued. But that said, everybody seemed to enjoy it, and it was really fun. And Christopher Narrates Your Life with Ellen Marsh and Joey Taranto was so much fun. I haven't done improv in years, and I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to keep up. And honestly, just meeting listeners and seeing listeners that I met last year was so great, such a treat. And that reminds me that if you were at Obsessed Fest and you wanted to meet me, I'm not saying that everybody at Obsessed Fest wanted to meet me, but if you happen to have wanted to meet me and you didn't for whatever reason, I invite you to Instagram DM me, either through Dear Daisy or Daisy Eagan, and give me your address, because I'd like to send you a little something. But if you did meet me, chances are I did give you a little something. So, okay, my dog is insisting on ear scritches right now, so I can't open this letter. I did get a physical letter at my P.O. box, which I'm so excited about, and physical letters do get precedence. Oh, I'll take the dog petting moment to say what I'm supposed to say, which is that in each episode I read letters cold. I don't look at them ahead of time, despite, for some reason, my sister and my dad continually asking me if I think I should. The answer is no, so don't worry about it. Appreciate the concern. I am not a licensed professional mental health expert. I'm not even a mental health expert. That's my dog Pops. I'm just a person who's interested in people, and people tend to want to tell me their stuff. And I've been told that I give good advice. So that's that. If I do end up reading something that, has some tough stuff in it, which tends to happen, I will go back and put a trigger warning in the beginning. So, okay, Noodle, I gotta open this. All right, I know I had a letter opener. I'm gonna use the screwdriver instead. Physical letters take precedence. It's just a promotional card for a podcast. Well, I'll read it anyway, I suppose. Hi, we're Whitney and Camden, hosts of Ghosts and Garnets. It's spooky season, the season of sweaters and pumpkin spice and ritualistic demon summoning, and what better time to make new friends? We're a good time. Let's hang out and talk about murder and ghosts and all things warm and fuzzy. Hugs and kisses, Whit and Cam. P.S. Love your podcast. Ghosts and Garnets, a podcast where true crime and the metaphysical meet. Huh, that's kind of like Strange and Unexplained. Well, I guess I just did an ad for Ghosts and Garnets. Good job, sneaky Whitney Rivera and Camden Shacker? SC. Okay, anyway. Great, awesome. Go listen to that. Fun times. Have your pumpkin spice latte. I don't give a fuck what Anthony Bourdain has to say about it. I heard a thing on the radio last year that Anthony Bourdain and some other pretentious food guy, were like railing, obviously he's dead, but like before he died, they were railing against pumpkin spice stuff, and one of the guys said that it represented the infantilization of America, and I was like, can you just let people have their fucking drink, like their fucking coffee drink? Like, what does it hurt you? Pulling up a letter. Life is fucking hard. Like, let people have their fucking pumpkin spice latte. Jesus. It represents the infantilization. Fuck off. Go do something with your life. Go fucking popsicle and take a nap. Okay. So this is weird. When I was at... Oh, here it is. Okay. When I pulled up letters to read at the live, I found 2 from April that I somehow hadn't seen. I didn't even know we started this in April. Did we start this in April? Wait a minute. So here we go. Dear Daisy, this brought me a lot of peace a few weeks ago, so I'm sharing it here. I've recently found out that we're not the only family who doesn't park in their garage because we have too much stuff in there. This sounds silly, but I tend to think my lack of organization and general tidiness is a problem that only I have, that other families don't have a messy garage or a hall closet bursting with stuff. So it's easy to get bogged down by feelings that I'm not doing enough, but it helps to know I'm not alone. And this is a quote. 25% of people with 2-car garages don't park in them at all. A third can only park 1 car, largely due to garage clutter. It's from the U.S. Department of Energy study. Anyway, I just wanted you and your listeners to know that I'm here and not perfect. I didn't Marie Kondo my whole house during the pandemic, and that's okay. We're part of the 25%, and it's okay if you are too. I love this. I really love this. Thank you to whoever sent this. Everyone is, so Instagramming their lives, and it's really easy to make a corner of your house look gorgeous, and if they panned the camera around, who knows what you would find. I was watching a Wes Anderson, is that his name? He's the White Angst movie maker. Anyway, he did this series of shorts, and he was doing really interesting things with backdrops and sets. You believed that you were sitting in someone's home, and then the sort of wall would just move away and it was somewhere else. And it just reminded me that you can make anything look nice or look how you want it to look. And you have no idea what the rest of it looks like. It's part of the reason why we love, photography and that kind of stuff, because it forces you to just sort of look at this one little piece. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like to sort of think about what's around it. I wrote this short screenplay that my partner and I are trying to figure out how to shoot, with not a lot of money or any money. And he was saying that, rather than like finding an apartment that fits our specifications, we could just, build a little half set. And I was thinking that won't work. That won't look right, but it will. Anyway, wow, that was really off topic. I mean, look, my desk is a mess. I'm happy to show it. I'll take a picture and show it. It's a mess. And I still haven't unpacked from last week. And there's like a pile of mail that I probably don't even fucking need that's just been sitting there. And on the floor, there's like a pile of framed photos that I don't know what to do with. So I get it. I was having a conversation with a listener / friend this morning on Instagram about this very thing, and that I want to build a little like studio out in the backyard. And it's supposed to be my office, but more and more I'm wanting it to be my art studio. And I said, maybe I'll split it, maybe it can be both. And she was basically saying like, good luck. Your craft space always ends up, taking up more room than you expect. And her thing was basically like, we're too busy creating, to be neat and tidy. And that seems fair to me. That's just, some of us we're too busy. And to us, it doesn't feel like chaos. I know to other people it really does. We also have a 2-car garage, and we don't park in them. We also, we have a driveway, so we park in the driveway. One of the spots is taken up. I guess that's not true. I guess one of the spots is taken up with Kurt's dad's vintage Mustang, which, comes out maybe twice a year. And the second half of the garage is Kurt's shop, where he builds and makes things. And I'm so happy that he has that space. So, oh yeah. And our neighbor right next door, the same thing. I guess it's more of a barn. Anyway, they have a space for cars, and they park in their driveway. No shame in it. Live your life. And it's definitely not a problem that only you have. Maybe only 25% of people don't park in their garages, but I guarantee you that more than that have, clutter and disorganization. I think it's just a mark of a creative mind. And also, I think, sometimes it's a good thing to like purge and get rid of shit that you don't need anymore, that you're just like lugging around with you. I just recently got rid of my report cards from like grade school and middle school and high school, because every time I came upon them, they just made me depressed. Maybe not grade school, but middle school and high school. They just made me feel shitty. And I was like, why do I have, like, what is the point of this? So yeah, purging is always a good idea, but like comparing yourself to others and what you see from their curated life is not. Thank you for sending me that way back in April. I didn't even know I was doing this podcast back then. What is time? You know what I mean? All right, I feel like I have more time. I still have one letter from the kids edition that I'm hoping to do, but I can't do one with just one. All right, here we go. Dear Daisy, hello. You can use she, they pronouns for me. Same. I'd love your advice on some family drama. Without getting too deep in the weeds, I am estranged from my late father's side of the family. My dad and I had a tumultuous relationship, but we were still in communication when he died from cancer in 2017. I was treated terribly by some family members at his funeral, but still had a relationship with his sister, my aunt, and her immediate family, my uncle and cousins. Since his passing, I've been to family gatherings with them, including my cousin's wedding in 2021. My husband, fiancé at the time, also came to the wedding and got along well with the family. However, when we sent invitations out for our wedding, these family members responded that they would not be attending, without much explanation. I know it was not a financial or scheduling matter, and I can only assume it's because I did not invite my paternal grandfather, which I assume my aunt took offense to. He and I had barely spoken in the last 20 years. He was in poor health and likely couldn't travel, and also did not like my maternal family, so it felt hollow and wrong to invite him. I was hurt by their choice to not attend our wedding and was venting about this with my mom. In the heat of the moment, she, quote, let it slip that my late grandmother, Yaya, left me her wedding ring in her will, but that my aunt has been, quote, holding on to it because I was only 4 when she passed. I'm the only granddaughter out of 7 grandkids on that side of my family, so I'm guessing that's why she left her ring for me. I loved my Yaya and would love to be able to have her ring. However, for all intents and purposes, I have no relationship with my aunt anymore. Do I out of the blue ask her about my grandmother's ring? I can guarantee she will not leave it for me in the event of her passing, especially since she now has a daughter-in-law. Do I leave it alone? I feel so stuck in how to move forward here. Help. I hate wedding shit. You know, like I hate the whole like people getting offended if you don't invite them. I mean, I get it, but it's weird that you went to their wedding. It's weird to me that you went to their wedding and then within, a year or 2, they were like, nope. I think you did the right thing by not inviting your grandfather if that's what felt right to you, you know? People are not entitled to your space, you know, just because they're related to you. I mean, I suppose you could have invited him knowing that he wouldn't have been able to come, but like you couldn't have anticipated that people were going to pretend to be butthurt about it. Sorry, that was patronizing. You couldn't anticipate that people were going to be upset that you didn't invite him. Who knows? Like maybe there's some huge reason that your grandfather didn't like your mother's side of the family, but like a lot of this just seems stupid and petty. Like generational fighting. Like, what are you even fucking fighting about anymore, you know? I think you're allowed to know that you were left something in a will. Is it written down? Could you send her a copy with it highlighted and just be like friendly? Hey, Aunt so-and-so. Oh, wow, I just came across this as I was helping my mom clean out some stuff, and I had no idea that this existed. And she thought it's possible that you might have it because I was only 4, when she died. If that's true, I would really love to have it. It would be the only thing I have from my grandmother who I love. That's not cool, for her to be holding on to it. Also, frankly, it's a little weird that your mom waited this long to tell you. Like, why should that have been a secret, But I'm not. People make weird decisions for all kinds of reasons. I wouldn't be surprised if she gave the ring to her son to give to his, when he proposed to her now daughter-in-law. Unless you know that to not be true. But I feel like you have every right to ask for it. Unless you feel like you're just doing it to be petty, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're honestly like, yo, bro, where's my ring? Yeah. And then don't ever fucking talk to them again. It's not worth it. If you were interested, you could also sort of ask like, hey, I was upset that you didn't come to my wedding unless you weren't. Can you let me know what that was about? And if they say it was about your grandfather, you can just say like, I assumed he couldn't travel because he was in poor health. Whatever. But yeah, people are not entitled to your space, and grandparents are certainly not entitled to you just because, you are a quarter of their DNA or whatever it is. I don't know what the math on that DNA is. I don't know. I hope that helps. It's so hard. And it's also hard without knowing like details and stuff. But if there's a way that you can be like, oh, wow, I just came across this will. Do you have any idea where this ring is? And then I suppose if you wanted to fucking take her to court, you probably could. But like, litigious people are a whole breed unto themselves. Yeah. I hope that helps. I don't know. What do I know? Not much. That and $2.75 will get me on the subway. Ooh. Sorry, little lamp. Shuffle my oracle deck and just tell you the thought that came to me just this moment, which has nothing to do with anything, but Monty, my son, has really been struggling in school lately. Not academically so much as a little bit, but like mostly social emotionally. So Yeah. And like really saying dangerous and scary things, mostly about wanting to like hurt himself or not be alive anymore. And none of us think he is really threatening self-harm. And it's more that he just has these massively huge emotions that he doesn't know where to put or what to do with. And it mostly comes from not eating. He gets so hungry that he just can't control. And it's horrible and it's terrifying and it's awful and it's weird because like, the first 5 years of his life were pretty transitory, if that's a thing. Like we were really struggling and we moved like so many times, crisscrossed the country, back and forth. We were homeless for a while and staying with friends and I don't think he even remembers any of that. And like through all of that, he had either me or his dad, and then me and Kurt got back together. We moved again back to LA, and then we moved again back to the East Coast where we are now. And, we have been incredibly stable as a unit, and we spend an incredible amount of time together. I mean, the amount of time we spend together as a family is excessive, but, we're homebodies. And, I stay with him until he falls asleep every night. Like, he has a very stable, loving life and household and family. So it's particularly sad and scary that he's struggling so hard, because it really does make me worry that he's like inherited my chemical imbalances. I think I've shuffled enough. Here we go. I'm going to pull a goddess oracle card. Oh, Yuzume, laughter. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We'll find out when I read the book. Wow, this is beautiful. It is a woman wearing, it looks like a kimono that is yellow with green sort of designs on it, with a dark green and a fuchsia colored and yellow, like, what do you call them? Scarves? I'm sure. Onis? Is that what that's called? The thing that ties the kimono? Her breasts are exposed, and they're quite ample, and they're appropriately weighted down, which I really appreciate. It looks like she is standing on a basket, like a large sort of barrel basket. She's got her sort of left leg, not sort of left leg, she's got her left leg bent. She's holding in her right hand a branch with some greenery on it and some white ribbons that sort of look like, like those ghosts that you hang up on Halloween made out of sheets. And then in her left hand, it looks like she's holding probably like some bells on like a, I don't know, like a thing of bells with ribbons coming down off of them. And she's wearing a headdress, like a gold headdress that's like with like a crescent moon on it and neat stuff. And it looks like she's standing, there's like in a, I don't know what that plant is. Bamboo? Does bamboo have like a flower? All right, her name is Yuzumi. I literally had to just do the end of the alphabet in my head. Let me check the pronunciation first. Uzume. Uzume is the goddess of laughter. Before the rock cave of heaven, where Amaterasu Omikami, the sun goddess, had hidden her radiant face, where all the assembled gods and goddesses had tried and failed to lure her out, I stepped up to the cave with utmost seriousness, with grave determination, with proper decorum, and a lofty mane. Mane? M-I-E-N. And with a bump and a bump and a bump, lifted my kimono and revealed myself in ways that caused the mouths of the exalted ones to water and fall open. Then I played puppet with my labia and paid myself a little lip service. I heaved my breast over one shoulder and then the other over the other and landed on my ass. with a bump and a bump and a bump, 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 amidst the explosions of laughter and merriment of the esteemed crowd. With breasts tied in a knot, my legs spread like a welcome mat, I called in the spirits and offered them my body, but they refused to take it. The crowd howled and laughed as I continued my dance, till Amaterasu Omi Kami couldn't stand it any longer and rushed out to see what was what. And thus did laughter win the sun goddess from her dark cave and bring light and warmth back into the world. Here is the mythology. Uzume, ancient Japan's shaman goddess, is credited as being the one to entice the sun goddess, Amaterasu Omi Kami, out of the cave where she had hidden. Uzume did a body dance making fun of shamanic ritual. She exposed her breasts and played with her genitals amidst the howls of laughters of the deities assembled. So loud and enticing was the uproar she created that Amaterasu's curiosity got the better of her, and she came out of her cave. Meaning of the card. Uzume begins her cosmic dance in your life to tell you it is time to nurture wholeness with laughter. Laughter causes us to relax, enables us to gain perspective, helps ease us through difficulties. Have you been taking life too seriously? When is the last time you had a good laugh? Are you able to laugh at yourself in a gentle way? Perhaps life is challenging you with such ferocity that you find it hard to see the humor in your present situation. Uzume says that wholeness is gained when you choose to laugh and see the humor in all of life's challenges. This is great, man. I wouldn't mind having a painting of this one up on my wall. I wonder if you can buy these somewhere. Wow. You know, I have to say, I really see a connection here with this card and these letters, because the first one I think is definitely like, don't take shit so seriously. Like, who fucking cares where you park your car? And the people who, like, if you're worried about judgment, like, they need to fucking lighten up. I also feel like people with clutter in their lives, I'm not talking about hoarders, I'm just talking about like general clutter, you know, are usually very playful and not worried about the little shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am cluttered and I'm fucking worried all the time. But, but I also use humor, you know, possibly as a defense mechanism, but also just because life is, again, have your fucking pumpkin spice latte. You know what I mean? And then in terms of the second letter too, I just feel like this is unnecessary heaviness. You know, like this generational bullshit that people carry, whether it's like we must stick together because we are family, or whether it's like we're never speaking because of this thing that happened, you know, many years ago, which now I'm seeing the thread between Israel and Palestine and generational fighting. Ding! You know, unless there was like unspeakable violence, which frankly, I think any of us, if we go far enough back, there's going to be fucking unspeakable violence back there because we are all carrying around the trauma from the beginning, you know, and without proper coping mechanisms. And like, finally, people are starting to be like, wait a minute, we need to process things and do better. You know, it used to be up until like the second half of the 20th century that people didn't think children grieved. So when a child lost a parent or a loved one, they would just go back to school immediately. People literally believed children didn't grieve. So I think there's a way to just be like, let's let that shit go. No, that's not, none of this is necessary, guys. Life is hard, you know? And life is hard right now. So carrying all that shit from before is like, why add to it, you know? Which is not to say that like, oh, you should have invited your grandfather, just let it go. I'm just saying like the subsequent generations, like, knock it off, you know? And it was such a beautiful thing for her to leave you her ring. And if somebody ends up wanting to make that like a shitty fucking thing, then like maybe you don't even want the ring, you know? Or if you do get it, just make sure you smudge it. get a fucking priest to, like, do an exorcism on it. I think we should all be a little bit more like Uzume and just, you know, I mean, don't dingle your genitals in public. Don't do that. But I don't know. Try not to take things too seriously. And this is coming from somebody who, you know, has taken things way too seriously in their life. But every day is a new day, and we, you know, try to do better. Just try to do better. And don't carry it into the next generations. And don't fucking have guilt about your cluttered garage. Again, my husband had to decide that my messiness was a small price to pay, you know, for being with me, because I'm kidding me? I'm a smoke show. So yeah, I'm sure the suitcases on the floor are driving him insane. And I'll get to them, just not right now, because right now I need to watch Scream 3 and play Gardenscapes on my phone until my brain oozes out of my ears, because life is hard while I drink my fucking pumpkin spice latte. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Dear Daisy. Dear Daisy is a production of Grab Bag Collab, which is a venture from myself and Amber Hunt and Amanda Rossman, my partners in crime. And of course, all of our work is brought to you by you through your generous patronage. Please feel free to spread the word. Let other people know about the great stuff that we're doing here. If you have an idea for a limited series podcast that you'd like to talk to us about, email us at grabbagcollab@gmail.com and we will send you our nifty little form. You can follow us on Instagram at grabbagcollab. You can follow me at Dear Daisy Pod and Daisy Eagan. You can send me an anonymous email via Google Docs. The link is on our website, Patreon page, social media. Remember that actual letters sent through the mail take priority, and I'll send you something back. So write to me old-fashioned like at P.O. Box 10221, Cranston, Rhode Island 02910. Amanda Rossman is my editor. Music was composed and performed by Kurt Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Go be playful, drink water, rest, and be kind.